Now then, welcome to the video. We're leaving the Hand and Dagger mooring and heading south towards Preston. Oh look, he's wearing his bob hat. Must be a winter cruise. No, it's the 1st of July in the UK, which means summer is in full swing. Yes, it's cold and wet, more like autumn. To be honest with you, it's the kids I feel sorry for. 6 weeks of this weather, and then the odd sunny day, and then school starts again. Right, check the lines, stick bits of wood in the roof box, a quick glance at the scabby roof, let's get on with that, and we're ready for off. The engine's still a bit smoky, but it's not warmed up yet. I've topped up all the fluids, so with a bit of luck we might have hot water by the end of the day. Probably not. Now you might be wondering what that metal bridge in front of us there is for. Is it a service pipe, a road, another canal? Well, according to the maps, it's a filed waterboard bridge, so I reckon it's a service pipe. One of them poopy ones probably. Next time we stop at the Hand and Dagger, I shall give it a bit of an explore. Any road, the wind's behind us, let's float out a bit and set off. Oh, by the way, the Hand and Dagger is situated on Trails Road. It's very near to Solwick, Kirkham and Preston. It's a bit of a destination pub, so if you're going there you'll need a designated driver. There's food on most days, but if you check the Facebook page, that'll give you all the opening hours and menu information that you'll need. That dreaded duckweed's back again. This might take a while. They reckon it's lack of use the cause of this problem. Quick blast to reverse usually clears the prop, but it soon gets right on your wick. Quite a few people say the Lanky isn't as busy as it used to be, with people sticking to a few sections not far from their moorings. This section is mostly used by boats coming up from the Ribble Link or going back down towards the Ribble Link. In fact, very few boats travel much further than the pub. It's got a bit of a reputation for being rough. It's a shame really. We've not had any trouble there, and I don't know anyone who has. That's the weed for this bit gone, but there's probably a lot more to come. This is Solwick Basin, which is situated in Newton Clifton. Yes, well, anyway, it's a lovely spot. Nice moorings, if you can bag a place. There's not much in the way of parking though. Pub's probably the nearest place. But if I had a permanent mooring, if I had the chance or had to have a permanent mooring on the Lanky, this would be in my top 3. Ah, the pea soup's back. Now from this bridge, which is number 25, Wilson's Bridge, which by the way is grade 2 listed, it's restricted mooring. Well, you can moor, but if you hear a siren, I think you've got to get out of the area quick smart, which isn't easy at 4 mile an hour. Anyway, it's restricted due to activities close to the canal. I think it's alien stuff, a bit like Area 51 round here. I could be wrong, I usually am. Anyway, restrictions end at Bridge 19, or begin if you're heading north. Anyhow, there's a couple of massive winding holes on this stretch, and I've always wondered why. It's the arse end of the back of beyond. If anyone knows, please tell me, I'm baffled. Look at the size of that winding hole. This one's a bit more overgrown than the other one. Still huge though. It's all countryside here, with plenty of cows and sheep watching you go by. Now over the last 3 years we've travelled down this way at least once a year, and I've watched this bridge being built. It carries the new bypass road, the Edith Rigby Way, that connects the A583 to the new Junction 2 on the M55. Now, if you watched me when I went on about this, our government projects usually are named after dubious failed local politicians. Well, on this case I was wrong. No surprise there. Edith Rigby was in fact a famous member, well, Preston anyway, of the suffragette movement. In fact, she was a very, shall we say, active member of the movement, which has upset quite a few people. Apparently she was a bit of a firebug, an arsonist in fact, a criminal, a terrorist. She planted bombs no less. Anyway, for those of you who aren't from the UK and don't really know much about the history, the suffragettes were a bunch of women that went round fighting for the rights of the women of their age to vote, and they succeeded, even though they had a little bit of break during the First World War, and they actually ended up succeeding, and the rest, as they say, is history. But unfortunately not all history is perfume and roses. I think if she wasn't such a rich woman, she'd have probably spent a lot more time in jail, or probably even in an institution. I've heard of poor people that were kept in the Lancaster asylums just for stealing an apple. Anyway, she died in 1950, just shy of her 80th birthday, and she had a colourful life by all accounts. Well worth reading about, that woman. Although I do go on about how this section's only really used as a thoroughfare to get to and from the Ribble Link, there's a lot of canoeists on this section. I don't know what the technical term is for a person who uses a canoe, so I'm saying canoeist and I'm sticking with it. Anyway, there's tons of them on this bit. They were braving the weather because it was hellish windy. We're a little further on now, nearing Preston, and that towpath has been repaired for quite a long way. In fact, up to here, just before the Final Whistle Cafe, which I've never been to, and I probably never will, as it says it's closed on the interweb. Never mind. The pea soup canal is back to hinder our progress. It was around here when we first got on the Lanky that we ran out of fuel. Just up ahead is the exit or entrance of the Ribble Link, depending which way you're heading. Indeed, there is the Ribble Link exit/entrance, but we're not going in there today. No, we're heading into Preston, right underneath this bridge. Last time we were down here, it was absolutely choked in duckweed. Not today though, it's relatively clear. Oh, famous last words. Coming up on the port side is Cadley Services, and I'm not ashamed to say, but these services are the favourite ones of mine on the Lanky. It has 14-day mooring, and it also has parking, although the parking is 48 hours only. I still don't know why. I suppose if you're at work all day long, no one will see you at night, so you could probably get away with parking for the 14 days. But I didn't say that, alright. Oh look, there's boats. See, some people do venture this far south. Not long to go, we're at the end of the southern part of the Lanky. And there it is, right in front of us. We can't cruise right up to the end as it's a bit shallow there, so we'll just have to turn around here. Shouldn't be too difficult. Let's watch me do a perfect about face so we can head north again. Well, this is going very well, isn't it? Well, it's time for some drastic action. That wind just kept pushing us towards all that weed there, and it's only about knee deep there, a couple of foot, well, a foot deep really. So I headed towards the side so Debbie could jump off, grab the line and drag the front end round, so we were facing in the opposite direction. It's quite easy to pull a boat round, even though it's about 14 and a bit tons, maybe more. Once you get it going, it's quite easy to move. We have to go in the weed out. Oh, and here comes the rain. Didn't even get the rope wet. Always time to grab a quick kiss off the missus as you go by. Never waste the opportunity. He can talk the iron legs off a donkey, that lad. Look at him go. Not a clue what he's on about, we'll just have to take my word for it. It was probably a load of rubbish. Finally, it's done and dusted. Let's set off back to Cadley Services to top up the water. After that debacle, let's talk about why I'm doing lots of voiceovers this week. Well, you see, I use two phones for filming, as I'm a bit poor and can't afford them fancy smancy cameras that everybody else has. This means when my first phone runs out of charge, I can use the other for filming. That's the backup camera. I also use this backup camera for all my talk to the camera bits that you see me do. You can see where this is going, can't you? Well, in a minute this bit ends as the phone ran out of charge. I popped myself into the weed hatch to clear a jumper from a grammar school that I can't remember the name of that had got wrapped around the prop. I swapped the phones to put the main one back on charge, so for the next 20 minutes the backup phone filmed our journey to Cadley Services and beyond. Then this happened. Oh no!
What?
The phone just jumped into the
Which one?
canal. Oh, the other one.
Which one?
The other one. It's gone forever now. Just took it off and it jumped in my hand. Oh dear. Oh, no. I hate dropping stuff in the canal, and I use some pretty strong Anglo-Saxon dialect. I was pretty mad with myself over it for ages. I was even contemplating giving up the YouTube stuff. Unfortunately for you, I didn't. With all that excitement out of the way, and with the weather turning a smidgen summery, we head north again. We've got another appointment coming very soon, and we're in a bit of a rush. It's always the same when we head north. Well, that's for another video. If you made it this far in this video, thanks for watching. We do hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, remember to like and subscribe. And if you click that little bell icon, YouTube will mither you next time we release one. Well, I reckon we'll call it a draw for this one. I've lost enough phones. Till next time, ta-da.